Alright, so the spooky season is officially upon us as Marvel Zombies has officially released from Marvel Studios, and it's an animated project on Disney Plus. And I have to say, for the way things are being delivered to us, especially from the animation department, for how far they want to go in terms of storytelling with the violence, and I gotta say, I am satisfied for what this miniseries delivered in terms of a zombie apocalypse theme type of show, especially for what they want to pull up with the TVMA rating. So I have a lot to say. And so this will be my full non-spoiler review of the entire show, go over my thoughts and my impressions, and for how it's going to lead into more projects later down the line for having this specific violent tone as well. And so if you're new, be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so I'm on any future vids. But now let's talk about Marvel Zombies. And now, I have to say, when this was first announced, this was coming off of a What If episode that was zombie themed, and they wanted to incorporate that into its own thing, and that's why it's called Marvel Zombies. And especially, this is unlike anything that we've ever seen in the MCU, especially with Marvel Studios and their animation department for what they want to tackle and want to expand that more, and especially with this specific type of show that's basically a miniseries with 4 episodes, and especially with the storytelling and the tone that they wanted to go with, especially with the TVMA rating, and just with my experience going in, this is unlike anything that the MCU has put out, especially in recent time, and especially with the violence, and there was so much to go around, and it stays to its uniqueness and its storytelling and presents itself with its own thing, because especially how far they want to go on a bigger, grander scale, I feel like more than a TV show, it is basically a movie, and especially when you have these survivors that are joined by other heroes to fight the zombie apocalypse that wanted to take over the world, and it was such a good time, especially as it did feel like a scary movie, especially with the MCU has never had the chance to do this before, and oh my gosh, and even though that this isn't the first time that we've seen this, but even though Deadpool and Wolverine kind of touched upon the violence and the language, but specifically with the Marvel Zombies, yeah, it did feel like a zombie apocalypse type of project, and I think it is the best thing that the MCU has put out in terms of animation for how great it looked, and especially when you have Kamala Khan, Riri Williams, and Kate Bishop teaming up, being a duo, trying to take on the zombie apocalypse, but especially with Kamala Khan, that was basically the star and the big highlight of the project, and it's been a long time since we've seen her, and especially as, we are basically joined by other heroes from other recent MCU projects to take on this zombie outbreak, and I think, even though I was on the edge of my seat, there was suspense, there were twists and turns, but especially as attractive things go on, and I think I really got my spookiness on it, especially with Marvel, that I really wanted to kick it off, and this was basically it, and just for how everyone plays a role in this sort of mini project, and to try to figure out what they know, try to help each other out, and what locations that they visit, and some familiar locations in the MCU, if you know what I'm talking about. And but the way that they incorporate that into this project, it is so good. And from the writing to character development for how they want to save the world, and to basically take on the apocalypse. And I also have to say that I just really like how intense that it got. It is so thrilling, and it is basically for what we want from the MCU, especially incorporating the violence, what advantage that they want to take with the TVMA rating, and trust me, it is mind-blowing. It is, I think it is amazing, and I think, I think this is the project that I very much enjoyed, and especially as it is action-packed, especially with a bunch of zombies that want to destroy these people, and with the way that the hand-to-hand combat works, and especially when you have a Blade introduced in animation. It's sad that we're not getting a Blade movie anytime soon in the MCU, but it was so great just to see him take on multiple zombies, and cutting bodies and splitting people in half, and especially from the gore, is basically that type of violent fest that I pretty much was satisfied with. And you know that we have other heroes such as with the Thunderbolts, Shang-Chi, and basically with Spider-Man in the picture, and it is basically so good. And sometimes this kind of felt like this does pick up after the What If zombie themed episode, especially if you've seen it. What type of surprises and twists that they hold, and towards the end, and it kind of felt like an MCU project that people will definitely be satisfied with, especially if you're a fan of zombie apocalypse movies, but also anything the MCU in general. Like, this felt like a more thrilling, violent project that it sort of tackled on every single cylinder. Oh my god, especially with zombie Wanda, and I felt like the Scarlet Witch turned zombie. I think it was like so good, and I think like everyone will be just gushing over the Scarlet Witch. I mean, like, yeah, she does have a role to play, but specifically for how this all plays out in terms of storytelling. But it was like a movie that was leading to the very end. Yeah, and I just have to say on so many things, and I think it was scary. It was violent, and also there are some tragic moments, and there are some great and also hitting and comment moments, and yeah, there is so much that you cannot get enough of when you're watching this show. And it's especially this was great, perfect timing to come for this project, especially as we're in the Halloween spooky season. I definitely felt like I got mine on while watching this project, and I hope Marvel does more of these, especially with Marvel animation. Like, they have a bright future ahead of them, especially for what more that they want to pump out that it never had a chance to explore in live action. And just with Marvel Zombies having its own thing, and yeah, it's just like a project that will kind of sit with people, but at the same time, kind of look at it as like a fun little project slash movie for that type of matter. But I really enjoyed Kamala Khan, and I really enjoyed all the heroes that stepped in to help fight the zombie apocalypse. And wow, and I think by the fourth episode towards the end, there's some really epic sequences, and there are, I think, surprises and cameos, and yeah, it's everything that you want if you're a Marvel fan or just anything in general. So yeah, I think my final thoughts are I really enjoyed Marvel Zombies, and I think the MCU definitely put out a great project, especially for what the animation department has been pumping out. And I think, yeah, this is the best MCU project ever, period. And I think Marvel Zombies, I think, is the best one in the books. And I feel like, yeah, it is violent, it is gory, and it is basically an apocalyptic themed type of show, and especially with the TVMA rating. And yeah, you'll definitely like it so much. I highly recommend that you watch this on Disney+. But that's gonna do it for this video. Just let me know in the comments down below, and what were your thoughts on Marvel Zombies, if you've seen it, and give me a rating between 1 out of 10. I'm curious to hear your opinion in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe and turn notifications for future videos. And also follow all my social medias, all linked down below. And with that, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.